All right. Hey, guys, it's Winning Wednesday, and I am Bryan with the Y. And Bryan Smith is not here. We sent him a link. He may show up, he may not. He's a busy guy working on a lot of things in the gym, but never fear, I have very cool guest with me to talk about scholarships. And you know what? Gymnastics world, we have scholarships, a lot of them, many of them. All you need to do is apply. Okay, it's kind of in your court if you're going to take action. And I have someone that sits on the board of two very prominent scholarships here in Texas. The Glenn Michael Sims Scholarship Foundation. He's the treasurer, and he also sits on the board of directors for the Flipag Texas A&M Alumni Scholarship. And hey, Justin James, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, Bryan with a Y. Thanks for having me here. I'm glad to be here to spread some knowledge about some scholarship opportunities, especially for the men.
Exactly. We had, and people don't understand that there's a difference because there are a lot more opportunities for the women in our sport, even though not here in Texas. Here in Texas, we kind of have a dry bowl on both sides of the sport. But nationally, the men's program is really lacking behind where the women, have many opportunities, hundreds of opportunities, I believe, to still get scholarships in our sport. So this past weekend, we had our men's state coaches meeting, and it was brought up that, hey, there's just not any opportunities out there for gymnasts. So I'm directing them over to another sport that's comparable, or I'm directing them over here because they can get money for college. And you raised a great point, and that's why I brought you on the show, is that, whoa, wait a second, hold on, stop what you're speaking. There's a lot of opportunity out there. You need to open up your computer and hit Google a little bit, because all you need to do is go apply for these things, because every year there's a limited number of applicants and a lot of money. And a lot of that money doesn't ever get used. It just gets saved. So tell us a little bit about the SIM scholarship.
So the Glenn Michael Sims Scholarship, I've been involved with that program for 2 years. I've been aware of it since I was a gymnast. I wish I was as smart about scholarships now as I am now, and understood. And I wish I was applying for this scholarship when I was in college. At the time, it was going more to athletes. I think Sean Townsend was receiving it a lot then, and he was definitely an athlete in a different caliber than I am, or I was, and so it kind of discouraged me from applying. But lately it's been going more to guys that are at the club level or just contributing some way back to gymnastics, and continuing in some form or fashion to contribute to the sport while attending college. But there's also guys that are receiving it that are going to NCAA programs. So it's about 30 years old. There's a meet tax in all the Texas USAG meets that, kids, or if they're registering as a male athlete to go to USAG sanctioned meets, they're paying in the tax that supports and funds the scholarship. So any of those kids are eligible because they've helped to pay in the tax to apply for those. There are some caveats in certain requirements for application process, but more or less, those are the kids that are able to apply once they're college age, and to be able to receive the scholarship. So this year we just we gave it out to 4 guys. So 2 of those guys will be going to NCAA programs, and the other 2 are competing at the collegiate club level in Texas.
So the application process isn't very complicated. I mean, it's very, you guys, because I was the president of the SIM scholarship when we made it a 501c3 and all of that. And you guys have brought it along from where I left off in 05, and, brought it a long ways. So the application process is pretty simple. And it's not a one-shot, one and done deal. These guys can come back and reapply every year of their college eligibility to get assistance financially from the scholarship.
Absolutely. And another thing, guys can apply if they didn't get it the first time, and so that's what happens a lot of times. Guys get discouraged that they didn't get it for whatever reason, and then they're just done applying. Kind of like I talked about, man, I wish I knew, then what I know now, I would have been applying every year for this thing, even though I just thought, oh, it was for Olympic level athletes. But it's certainly not the case now, although we encourage those guys to apply as well. But yeah, you definitely can reapply every year, even if you have received it last year or you were denied for it last year. If you're in college and you contributed to it in your junior years as an athlete going to Texas sanctioned meets, then you should be applying for it.
And now, you also sit on the board of directors of the Flipag Alumni Scholarship. Now, that's something that I know as an Aggie, that's near and dear to your heart because that's your alma mater. And I know you and Andrew Parker kind of were the brain children that put that together and have made it. And today it's one of the it stands up there as one of the premier scholarships for these athletes to apply for, especially if they want to go to A&M. And again, that application process, not real complicated, and it's not a one and done, right?
No, absolutely. That's just as easy as a Michael Sims scholarship. You can find both of these online websites that have the requirements for application process, and super simple. And definitely, it's not a one and done. You apply for it if you're a student at Texas A&M and you want to help contribute to the gymnastics sport in some way, whether that's competing for the college club team at A&M, and you could be competing as a beginner or competing as an elite level athlete at Texas A&M, or if you're a student at A&M and you want to coach and judge, we encourage those guys that are involved with the gymnastics club at A&M in that fashion to apply. But it's certainly not one and done. Apply all the years that you're at A&M. Apply as you're entering into A&M as a freshman. It's a great. I mean, yes, we're happy to hear guys like you say that it's one of the primo scholarships because that's what we want to make it. We want to encourage guys to look at the opportunities that are at Texas A&M because they have a facility on campus, and to think about that as an option to continue their gymnastics training and their competitive gymnastics if they choose.
Yeah, there's not a school in Texas presently that has NCAA gymnastics in any way, shape, form, or fashion. And U of H has been the one that's come the closest to getting it approved. And, they switched ADs, and so that kind of threw a monkey wrench in there. And, of course, now with Simone Biles' help saying that when she's finished with her career, she would like to coach that team. I think there's been a little bit of a revival because I've seen my Twitter come alive with comments and concerns about it. And which is fantastic because if we can get a women's program over there, that means that it's not far behind, that we could probably sneak in some kind of a men's program to coattail that. And that's fantastic. And these scholarship opportunities, we've talked about 2, but at the meeting on Saturday, you outlined about 9 different ones. And
yeah,
I mean, it wasn't like there was a small pool. There was plenty of scholarship opportunity out there. It's really, in my opinion, boiled down to, are you willing to do a little legwork? Are you willing to spend a couple hours on the computer and kind of go research what's out there? Because it wasn't a matter of, I don't know, a couple of minutes. You tapped out 9 of them to show us on the screen that there's 9 different opportunities out there, and none of these are one and done opportunities. They're all out there for application, and they're all out there for gymnastics. And like you said, some of the people, maybe at gymnastics, maybe your career falls short due to injury, this, that, or another thing. But if you're still judging, if you're still coaching, if you're still in the sport in some way, shape, form, or fashion, maybe even admin, but you're in the sport making things happen, then maybe there's still opportunity for you out there.
Absolutely. And what's the worst anybody can say is just no. So find out what these opportunities are and apply. Whatever you're doing gymnastics wise, whether you're competing in your 15th year of gymnastics, or maybe you got started in high school program and you're in your 3rd year of gymnastics, so you've decided you don't want to compete, but you want to judge. And so definitely apply for these things. The worst anybody can say is no. There's so many scholarship opportunities out there, not just in gymnastics here, but in our country that just go unapplied for because people aren't spending the time to understand and look and find opportunities and then pursue them, and by turning in a simple essay or whatever the requirements are. Some of them very minimal, just people aren't accessing them and doing them. But yeah, I kind of listed off 8 scholarships. And the meeting we were at was a men's business meeting, so they're pretty much focused on the men's side. But that Flipag scholarship is available for students at Texas A&M that are men or women. So we're giving out to both. Michael Sims is for men, that would have contributed to it by competing as through men sanctioned USA events in Texas. But then I'm a huge advocate for scholarship stacking, because yes, a lot of these are $500, $1,000, $2,000 scholarships, which is great. That's awesome money that these entities have worked hard to earn to award to young athletes. But if you can get 1,000 from 8 different ones, you've got $8,000, and that's puts a big chunk of financial burden off of you for your college studies. So Michael Sims, as we talked about, the Flipags, those are the ones I'm involved in, but obviously I'm always supporting other opportunities for my kids to apply. Another one in Texas that goes to the men is Levi Torkelson. So there's a website there, you can look that one up. And then another one, there's 2 through the Texas high school system that can go to men. One is Texas High School Collegiate Club Scholarship. So this is for people who participated through Texas high school, but they're wanting to stay in Texas and do one of the collegiate club routes. So let's say A&M, you could get that there. And then there's another Texas high school scholarship named after Emil Milam. And so this is for anybody that did Texas high school, but they're continuing their gymnastics anywhere. So they can take that anywhere. And then there's a USAG, National Gymnastics Foundation, kind of similar to the Michael Sims, where if you've gone to any men's programs, USAG sanctioned event, you've also paid a tax into that. So you're eligible to apply. The men's academic scholarship, they've just kind of rebranded and renamed those. Some of y'all might have just seen that email. And then going into Texas A&M, we mentioned the Flipags, but then Texas A&M has their own endowment scholarship. Even though they're an unfunded program and they're a non-NCAA sanctioned program, they're still a program, and they still have donors and people and alumni who are wanting to progress and make it better. So there is an endowment there that the students just a few years back have started to award scholarships through. And then the organization that Texas A&M currently competes in is called the NAIGC, which is National Association of Intercollegiate Gymnastics Clubs. And it's a huge meet, their national meet, because it's encompassing, it's encouraging. Anybody can kind of participate, and they can organize their own teams if they don't have one at their campus. But there's scholarships through that entity. So, let's say a kid goes to A&M and they've competed in all these entities and they're eligible for all these scholarships, and they just get $1,000 from every single one. Well, that's $8,000 right there. And that's pretty awesome, especially for somebody that's in state and wanted to go to Texas A&M. That puts a big chunk into their tuition.
Yeah, the thing that amazes me is that, and you're involved in high school gymnastics, so you touch a number of kids there. You're involved in private club over at World Champions Center, and you touch a number of kids there. And then you're involved with all these different scholarships. So you're very involved in the Aggies program. So you're out there touching those guys, helping them as well. And what I hear you saying is it doesn't matter which part of the program you're in, private club, high school, in college already, these avenues are available. And all it's going to take is a little bit of effort on your part so that you can go get them. And there's no reason for coaches to send their kids over to another sport or to send them over to do something different than gymnastics, because $8,000 a year, that'll almost cover you. You get a little bit of a loan or a few grants or a little financial aid, and you got it done. And hey, if you do like the rest of us and you have to work through school, hey, that's good too. All are good lessons in life, So, there's a lot of avenues out there, and I think folks just need to hear from people like you that are heavily involved in the scholarship programs, heavily involved in the high school gymnastics programs, as well as in the JO and junior elite programs through USA Gymnastics, that, hey, we're looking out for our kiddos, and we have these avenues. Why don't you ask me about them? So in summing up, what would be if you were talking to a room of juniors, they were all going to be juniors in high school right now, what would you tell them that they needed to do for their GPA, for preparing to get their applications in, and what they should be looking for in a scholarship or a school to go to if they came to you?
Man, I mean, it's just as simple as gymnastics. Be disciplined. Do the work. Figure out what you need to do to align yourself to get your future to climb up toward the goals that you've set for yourself. So, hey, I want to go to this school. Okay, cool. What are my opportunities to do gymnastics there? All right, great. I'm invited to be on their team. Oh man, it's going to be expensive. So how can I find some scholarships? Well, I'm competing in Texas high school. I'm competing in Texas USAG, so I can apply for this one and that one. Just be disciplined, understand what you need to do the work in getting these applications there. I mean, finding the applications and turning them in, and then, try to collect some money. Another thing too, as you mentioned earlier, talking about like $8,000, I'm big on scholarship stacking. So these are just the gymnastic stacking things, but what you're talking about, the GPA stuff, make sure you're being disciplined and working hard and getting, I've seen some kids go crazy with that and drive themselves insane to be the top kid in their class. But you need to be disciplined and get your GPA as high as possible while still maintaining a healthy life balance with your gymnastics training and your social life. But because that's going to help you secure more scholarships through the academic side. So especially guys that are trying to go out of state into some of these other programs, I'm always telling them, look, keep your grades up, because the gymnastics is super, super hard to get to that level to be recruited. But you could maybe be a walk-on, maybe that's where you're at. But if your grades are there, most any program is going to take you. If they always getting academic money, that's great. Let's get them in here and give them a shot. It's not going to cost them anything to give them a shot. It just needs to get on campus and give it a try. So that's another form of stacking in my mind, is try to set yourself up with good GPA, good class rank, all that, and good preparation for college, so you can get some academic money along with some of these $1,000 scholarships that are available through Texas.
JJ, it's been great to have you on the show. And people I know in the high school gymnastics world, and I know in the JO world as well, a lot of people know you. A lot more people are going to see you through this video. And if they wanted to, they could simply email you, and you could pass along the list of scholarships and at least give them a path to walk down. And so how would it be best to do that? If they wanted just to email you and get your list that you tapped out. I mean, you tapped that thing out so fast, and you had it there, and it was fantastic, because I never sat down and thought about it. I know we also through GAT, you can add one more, is the Bryan Shank scholarship through GAT. So, and that's men's and women's, and I think tumbling and trampoline too. But, there's a lot of scholarships out there and a lot of money that's sitting waiting for these kids. And I know you're all about helping. How would they get in touch with you?
Well, man, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I wanted to bring that up. These are just ones I'm aware of. There's probably other gymnastics ones that I want to compile and put on this list so I can help direct people and educate people on, hey, here's some options. I don't know of all of them, so just like most of the average kids out there, it's hard to be aware of everything. But I want to educate people. My biggest passion is helping guys continue at the college age, past 18, when they really can start their gymnastics. They might be in their 10th year or so, but man, once their body starts to get past 18 and start to become a man, there's no easier way to say it. Their gymnastics can just get so much better, so much faster if they can do it. But most guys are stopping at age 18. So my biggest passion is helping them, if they want to, and they have a good junior, build off their junior training, helping them find avenues to continue. And so, man, it's the last few years where I've been sitting on these boards and literally writing checks for the Michael Sims and sending these out to kids. It's been so rewarding to know that I'm having an impact on these guys at the college level. So yeah, please reach out to me. Show me more scholarships that I'm not aware of that I left off this list. I'd like to compile that and put that somewhere where we can access it and send it out to where anyone can access. But email me anytime. My email with the school district is jjames@humble, winwisd.net.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, hey guys, today's episode, Winning Wednesday, with our guest Justin James, and getting to know that there's a lot of scholarships out there. Our show sponsor is The Right Profile, and I know many of you struggle with helping your athletes get mental performance, get over fears, get over fear of success, have different struggles with self-image and this and that. And The Right Profile has compiled a lot of information so that they can help numerous athletes in many sports. Now, they've been very successful for the past 30-something years, 20-something years over in the football, baseball, soccer, basketball arena. See if I forget any of them. But Bill Belichick, if you need a spokesman, Bill Belichick swears by him. Dr. Troutwine put this system together. I took the assessment. It's fantastic. Bryan's taken it. Several other people I've given the free link to, they've taken it. They're like, wow, I never have taken an assessment that actually nailed me. And everything that said is me. So along with that, though, for a whopping $99 a year, you can actually get the mental gym. And the mental gym takes you through all the mental exercises that a sports psychologist, sports psychiatrist would take you through, where you'd be paying, anywhere from $225 to $350 a pop. You can get the whole thing right there on your phone for like $99 a year. So The Right Profile sponsors this show, and they love gymnastics. They're wanting to help gymnastics. They're going to be seen at several events this year. I think I'm going to have them out at H&I. So it's going to be a fantastic thing. Get to know The Right Profile. The link is in the show notes, along with some more information about Justin. And I'll actually go and add his email there so that you guys can look him up. And hey, don't worry. If you have any questions, just comment into the show. Just leave us a comment. And you know what? I'll send it over to Justin if he doesn't check it out himself, and we'll try to help you out as best we can. But Justin, it's a hell of a way to win Wednesday when you're looking at helping a lot of youth get a college education and secure their future. I mean, that is a hell of a way to win Wednesday, and I appreciate you being on, buddy.
Thanks for having me. Pleasure's all mine.
All right, sir. We will see you later. Guys, check out the show notes and take the assessment.